Hello and welcome to Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Shannon.
I'm Heather.
And today we're going to talk all about time versus money. And when I say time versus money, I mean putting a monetary value on your time and what you expect to get out of it. Before we get into it though, let's go over our trials this week. I'll start?
All
right. So this week, I had one of my sister-in-laws was visiting from New York, and of course she hasn't been back home for about a year or so, and she's here for a handful of days, and she has to go and spend time with as many people as she can. She also has her significant other, so we were able to pick a certain day that we got to see her and have her over. She hasn't seen the house since we've had it redone. And it just happened that it fell on a Wednesday. So Wednesday is a school day, a work day, right in the middle of the week. And so I had planned this kind of a little bit elaborate dinner. I wanted to really have something nice.
You overloaded yourself, didn't you?
And maybe a little bit. So I planned this kind of elaborate dinner, and I had planned to get home and clean, but I only had 3 hours, which seems like a lot, but it's really not.
Not when you're trying to cook, clean, and everything.
And I was having a really hard time with it because the kids were kind of helping, but kind of not. Chris was on his computer and not really doing a whole lot, and I started to just get really upset, and I kept being everyone, come on, nobody cares as much as I do. And I kept going on and on about how I didn't understand why it seemed they were kind of made me feel, I won't say that they were saying, they were kind of making me feel like I was the crazy one for wanting to have a very clean house and have it be a certain way when they're just family that's coming over. And to some extent I understand. I think it's just the way we grew up. Acts of service is my love language, so it's definitely a way that I show love, is to do things like that. And having people in my home, I want it to be very welcoming and cozy. I don't want them to come over and see their dirty socks on the floor and be like, oh, you guys are so excited to see us, you couldn't even clean your crap out of the floor. So I started to this sounds so weird, I have a horrible confession or something, but I don't. I started to just keep going on and on and on. I went on and on and on, and was I realized after, because my husband pointed out to me, that I was guilting them a little bit. So I kept going on about how nobody cares as much as I do. Why doesn't anyone care? I wish you guys cared. I should just be okay with it, but I'm not, And we ended up getting into a big fight. My husband got up and he was upset, and then he was cleaning, but he was all pissy about it.
Yeah.
Grudgingly cleaning.
Yes.
You're no, I want you to happily clean.
Yes. And so I was trying, I didn't think at the time I was guilting them. I was just trying to, make them feel how I was feeling, For instance, he was okay, what else do I need to do to appease you? And I was honey, it's not about, appeasing me. It's about knowing that the type of person I am, that this is something that is hard for me or is going to bother me. And as my partner, it's something that you would recognize and want to help, help make better, or help me make it better. Knowing I was short on time, pitching in a little bit without it being a whole thing. So it didn't go great. Everything kind of simmered down. He said, he did point out the fact that, well, you're guilting us. He's nobody cares. Everyone cares, but no one cares in the same way that you do. But you're guilting us to make us do it. And I realized I didn't think that I was guilting them to make them do it, but in the end, kind of I was.
Yeah.
Because I was mad that they weren't doing it in the first place. So I had to take a chill pill and feel really crappy and sorry for myself that I was doing that. I couldn't deny it. I could not deny it, And then everything kind of smoothed out. Dinner went well. The stuff I made, they were really enjoyed, so that was good. And we're sitting around talking at dinner, and I forgot what was said. Someone said something, I remember what was said, but then Annika was oh yeah, like some people need the whole house to be cleaned. And then I swear to God, it was like crickets for like 3 minutes. And I was like, well, I just don't know what to say. Then I feel like reiterate, like, I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. Like, we grew up that, I think it's because we grew
You make things
now-
really presentable when people are coming over.
Yeah. And I
I will
understand.
say, I would have had to come back to the sassiness though.
Oh, I just
can't-
was like,
I can't
tried to
handle the
blow it
sass.
over because already
Nope.
I felt uncomfortable because I was feeling a little vulnerable because
Yeah.
I did realize, yeah, I was guilting them inadvertently, like not without, I don't think I really realized it until it was pointed
Yeah,
out.
but okay, this is where our parenting styles are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You asked them to do something,
Should have been.
they
done.
should have done it.
I
It shouldn't
know.
have been a
And
question. They shouldn't have
They were
argued
just
it.
kind of like, they weren't doing it the way like
How they were
I would have
supposed to.
wanted them
Yeah.
to do it, kind of thing.
And that's where that fine line is.
Yeah.
You've got to let go.
That
And I understand too,
Mhm.
like,
and the sassiness I'd have clapped back to.
yeah.
I'm like, that's not
I just
okay.
kind of like blew it over because I knew it would be a whole thing again. And we'd already 20 minutes before they showed up, we were literally arguing, and I was
Yeah.
crying. It was bad. It was bad.
Mhm.
And like I understand where like Chris is coming from. He's like, this is family. Like she's not gonna care. I try to like explain to them like it's not about whether or not our family is like comfortable with us and all our crap being around. Like it's about making them feel welcome. We haven't seen them in so long, and I just like I want to just spend
Want
this
them to
time
be like,
having
wow,
a
your
good
house looks
time.
great. The first time they see you, don't want to
Yes.
show them your new house
Yeah.
and it be a wreck already. Like that
Exactly.
doesn't look good.
But it was definitely a trial because I had to like, what do you call it? Oh, I was gonna say eat crow, but that term always like grossed me out. So,
Yeah.
like, but I had to
Yeah.
like
Just take it.
realize that okay, you were kind of doing that, and it's like that a lot with arguments. Like,
Mhm.
there's no necessarily like right or wrong a lot of
Mhm.
times. Like
Oh,
there's a
rarely,
little right and a little
unfortunately.
wrong. You're somewhere in between a lot of times, especially
It would be
in
easier if there was a
relationships.
yes, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
So while I think like they probably could have just helped out, and they know how I am, they know how I feel about these things, but it also made me recognize like not everyone thinks this way. Like not everyone is thinks the kind of way I do. Not everyone is like constantly like I'm also the kind of person that's always thinking about like what is that person feeling? How are they going to feel about this? Like I don't want them to feel this way.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm always trying to be aware of someone's feelings and what they got going on. And I forget that some people just are not necessarily as in tune or not really
On that even radar at
even
all.
on that radar.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Which isn't wrong. It's just different.
no.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to remind myself, like, oh, just because if it were the other way around, and someone was saying like, it just feels like you don't care. To me, I would be like, oh wait, that's not true. Of course I care. Let me relate
Yeah.
to that person.
Yeah.
But not everyone feels that or makes that connection. So so it was a little bit of a trial. We had a great time.
Yeah, in the end.
In the end, but I did I caught that I was guilting a little bit. I was, and I like to say like that I try not to do that. But I admit when I am wrong, and I was
Yeah.
a little bit wrong, but I was not all the way wrong.
That's so. I mean, it's not funny, but we don't ever talk about like what our trials or triumphs are gonna be before we get on here, and somehow they, not always, but a lot of the time end up relating.
Yeah.
So mine has to do with a fight. It was a very one-sided fight actually, because my husband didn't even realize we were in it. But okay, so I've talked a little bit before about how my depression kind of manifests in that my house isn't as clean as it used to be, and how I liked it, and everything always looking pristine. It's just not that way anymore. But last week, one day, I was feeling good. I got up, I cleaned, everything was nice, I felt good. And then the next day, I didn't even know exactly how it started. Like, we were playing around, and Ben had gotten a pair of socks that he was about to put on for, I guess he was cold, because I always keep it cold. But I said something, and he was trying to be silly, and he threw the socks at me, and they went in the hallway, and I demanded that he pick them up, which I shouldn't have demanded. That was wrong. But because of my tone, it was automatically a power struggle. He
Oh,
was like,
God.
absolutely not. He's like, I would have, but not now.
Yeah.
So, in my head, those socks literally sat there for like 4 days. I
Oh my
was
God.
furious for 4 days. Angry at everything. Until, because I would clean around them. Like, I was not picking them up. So, because it became power struggle, and which is totally childish, but
But
It's
it
like-
happens.
That's
Yeah,
what
that
it
sounds
is.
like freaking.
right. So,
Sounds like my boys.
so I came home from work one day, and he was being all playful, and I'm like, we're still fighting, but he doesn't know, obviously. And like, he's like, what is it gonna take to make you happy? I was like, pick up your damn socks. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like,
Oh my god.
the socks that are in the hall because you threw them at me the
You're
other
like,
day.
I know you know.
And I was like, what do you mean? And I'm like looking right at them. And he's like, Shannon, those aren't my socks. He's like, I picked my socks up that night. I've been pissed off all week about the kids' socks in the hallway.
Oh my god.
They were not even his. He picked them up. He wasn't going to do it before I went into bed because of the power struggle. But he picked them up that night. And I guess simultaneously, the girls left their black socks.
That's too funny.
I haven't even decided which kid it was yet. But Aubriana got the brunt of it. But yeah, I was angry. I was talking to one of my girlfriends about the sock standoff. Like it had a name. And it was just like I devoted so much time over something so petty to just completely consume me, and I was like, I gotta be better than this. So it was just a waste of energy, obviously.
Yes.
So it definitely was like a eye opener. Like you've really got to pick your battles because.
Yeah.
And I was joking with somebody like, we've been married almost 5 years, and I feel like the first year, maybe 2 even, we argued a lot. I feel like that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
We were learning to live together. We were a blended family. There were a lot of different things going on. And so now apparently we just make up random shit to fight about because we're not fighting about real things anymore. So I was like, okay, I've really got to get control over these mood swings because clearly if I am pissed off about some socks that are not even his, like,
Right.
this is too much. So
That's
it
pretty
turned out to
cute.
be funny, but it was just like,
Not at the time.
I wasted way too much of my week being angry about some damn socks.
Because it was more than the socks.
It was.
It was the principal.
Yeah.
It was. I was the principal. I had just cleaned, and he knows that I don't have, like, it in
I
me
don't have time for this.
to clean constantly. Like, it's really a struggle for me. And I had, and he did not appreciate it. So, but apparently he did, because that night he picked up his socks like a good husband. Like,
That's too
he compromised. He wasn't going to pick them up in that moment because I'll admit I was completely demanding. I flew off the handle. It was completely unjustified, irrational.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I got, like, he was like,
It was just
what
bad timing.
just
Mhm.
happened?
Yeah.
You could see, like, the look on his face. He was like, I don't understand how we went from like, here to here
Yeah.
this quickly. But he's very stubborn, and so am I. And that's
We
where
got that too. I wonder if that's like a.
and that's where the sock standoffs come from.
Even when they're not his.
Exactly.
My trial this week is my truck's still broken down.
Oh
No.
And I've just had a lot of personal things going on. My anxiety has been horrible. And all I want is to, like, vent to my husband. And he's not even freaking in any, like, he's out at sea. So I can't even, I just needed a good cry. And he wasn't there for me to cry. And,
Aw.
you know, I just got to let it all out. And I couldn't.
I don't like to
and
cry in front of Chris. I feel like I'm
yeah.
vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I can cry for him.
I mean, I do. But, like, I don't like, I go to him to complain, but I don't, like, go to him to, like, cry on his shoulder. I don't cry on nobody's shoulder. I cry on my own shoulder. I'm a private crier. Unless it's just, like, poof.
I'm a big crybaby about everything, but the moments are ridiculous. Like, my car wreck, like, I kept it together until Ben showed up finally. Like, I had to send Mom to get him and everything. It was, like, because his phone was on silent and whatever. So it was a good half an hour before he got there, and I kept it together. And then he showed up, and I'm, like, bawling. And he's like, what's wrong? Like, because he knew it clearly wasn't, like, a sudden effect, or I wasn't scared. And I was like, my car! Because I was so upset.
Yeah.
But, like, even whenever we have an argument, I don't cry throughout the whole
no.
thing. And
I
once
cry
it's,
during
After.
arguments.
no, once
I
it's
do
over
too.
and he like hugs me and it's like, oh, like make up and be better, then I
That's
start
not-
bawling. And I'm like,
Nope.
now is
I
not the
piss
time.
off. I get pissed off and I cry because I'm pissed off.
Same. I get the same way, but like I hate it.
Yes, because
Ah.
then it's like you think you're hurting my feelings, but it's just because
That's
I'm
what it
really
is.
pissed
That's
off.
What it is.
Yeah.
And that's what it is for me too. Like I feel vulnerable crying, and it's like that's silly, but it's true.
Yeah.
I'm fine with crying.
Even
Like
though-
I don't like crying during fighting because then it's like, well, he's got the upper hand, which is not true. It's just.
Look how it's
How
But
my-
you
pretty.
yeah.
feel same. And I
But
feel
if
the
I'm
same.
crying
like,
because
I feel
I'm
like,
just there's just too much and I need to release, like
Mm-hmm.
he's my partner. He's gonna help me get through it.
I cried a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
I think
emotional.
maybe that's why it's like you feel like you can't almost like in those moments like you feel like you said like you're letting them like get the best of you, but usually like we're talking about husbands right now, like they're usually are going to be somewhat sympathetic to you, but it's like I don't want your sympathy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
that's
I
the thing
don't
is
want
like,
it.
and then it like cuts our fight short because you think he's hurt my feelings
Oh.
more, and I'm like, we're not done. I'm not. You're not hurt. Like, we're keeping those going, but
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
yep,
I-
yes. And he's like, I'm sorry, and he goes, just
Don't even.
I cry
I
really
need- I
quickly
need- I
when
need
it
a
comes
moment.
to the girls.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to the girls, like Zoe today, we had her gymnastics showcase.
Oh.
And she, for the first time, she got her front handspring. And she
Oh.
immediately, like, she does her, like, little gymnast stand. And she turns and she goes, Mommy, I did it. And she came and, like, hugged me. And I was like,
Okay,
whoa!
that's a good moment. That's a good
Yeah.
moment.
Like, she was so proud of herself. But, like, whenever it comes to the kids, like, there's no holding it back. I have no filter. Every little thing. Every Christmas performance. Everything. I'm a big crybaby. But not so much when it comes to fights. I save it till the end, which makes no sense. Because then he's like, I thought we were done. I don't know what's going on here. Why are you upset now? Is this new?
like, no, it's just all releasing now.
Yes.
But
All right.
time versus money, and what does that mean to you? So, this is big for me right now, especially because I'm at a point that the kids are a little bit older. They need me, they do, but it's exponentially less than
Mhm.
ever before. I mean, they're 8 and 10. They're doing their own thing. They get up. They know how to get ready for school. Like, I'm not getting them dressed or picking out their outfits or any of those things anymore. So that's kind of created like I can make something more in my career, like
Right.
a new
The space.
phase.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But to keep that balance is really freaking hard. And it's kind of just like, where do I find that? Like, what's worth, like, sure, the extra money they're going to enjoy. We're able
Right.
to take trips. We're able to do this. So there is a worth to it, for sure. But that time that I'm not there for dinner or anything like that, like, you've really got to find that balance.
Right.
And what always comes to mind for me was, and I don't know who put this story up, it was just one of those stories that you find on Facebook and it goes on and on and on so many times that you don't know really where it originated.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like, the gist of the story is there's a dad that works a lot, and the kid asks the dad, like, Daddy, how much do you make an hour? And the dad
Oh,
explodes.
I know this story.
God.
Yeah, and the dad explodes, and he's like, that's rude, you don't ask that, this, that, or the other. And in the end of the story, it was because the kid was saving his allowance, and he wanted to buy an hour of his dad's time.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Oh, I want
That's
to
like
cry.
those country
Yeah.
Christmas songs.
Right, yeah. Stole my dog, pickup
Right.
truck, and everything.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but that, as silly as it is, just for, like, some, like, little Facebook story, I was like, holy crap. Like, that's whenever I kind of was going too far. Like, there'd be 4, if not 5 nights a week that I wasn't the one home cooking dinner or doing anything. And while my career is extremely important to me, I think it helps me a lot to have something else to identify as other than a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not willing to miss that side of being a mother either. So it's been a lot of playing back and forth to figure out what's it worth.
What's the balance there?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you find that you have that issue?
I had that issue more when I was a single mother
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I was working 2 jobs and it was just me, so I really didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
But I worked 7 days a week, and on the rare chance I had a day off, it wasn't a weekend day. The boys were in school,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
I still didn't see them anymore.
Well,
and,
like imagine what you did with your day. Like you could catch up on everything.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it just felt like I was paying the school and after school care or daycare to raise my kids, and it sucked
Yeah.
a lot. And then I finally went back down to 1 job, but I was still working every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And it came to where I was like, look, I need 1 weekend day off, just 1. I'm not
Yeah.
asking for the whole weekend, just 1 weekend day off. Well, I ended up getting my hours cut to 2 days a week.
Right, because of that request.
That's one of
I
the
remember
reasons, yeah.
that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked away from that job. It wasn't a fabulous job, but it was an okay job.
Mm-hmm. But still, you
But
walked
it
away from that
made-
security.
Yeah, it made more sense to me to be able to have a bonding time with my kids versus not seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely hated not. I literally, like, the weekends I did have them, I had to find a babysitter.
Right.
And it sucked.
Yeah, I find that even in my free time, because I don't have a whole lot of it, kind of things like that. Like, I'm very picky about what we do or how we
Mhm.
spend our time. Like, I always sound like pretentious and nasty. I don't mean to, but like,
You do you.
I have somebody come in and clean most of my house for me every now and then because to me it's worth my time.
Yeah.
The time that it gives me back to hang out with the kids, whether it's I'm napping and Aubriana's coming in and hanging out with me and telling me all about her day, or we're off doing something fun. Like if it's time that I'm not having to devote to cleaning,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't have a whole lot of free time, so it's worth it to me to pay a little bit extra to have those hours back to spend
Yeah.
however I'd like to. I mean, I wasn't always able to. Obviously, it's not something. I definitely don't do it every weekend.
How do you feel though? Like, do you get guilt? Do you feel guilt a little bit for that
Mhm.
kind of thing?
I
Like,
felt horribly guilty when I was working the 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Horrible.
well,
Because
what about-
I felt like I was losing all my time with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
What about like do you feel guilt like when you take that time and you are like basically doing nothing with it? Like do you feel guilty when you're like, "Oh, well, I could be working on my Etsy shop. I could be
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I could be working on some yoga sequencing so I can teach some classes, but really all I want to do is like sit and watch TV with my
You just
kids."
want to
Yeah.
zone out.
Like
and
I feel guilty for taking that time sometimes, even
Mhm.
though I know like it's normal. Like I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that in this day and age, you're constantly motivated to be doing something, like how we talked about in our hustle episode.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have a hustle. You can't just have one job. You gotta have a side hustle.
You always
You
gotta be
can't
going,
just-
doing like every minute has to be like productive.
Right.
Which, in my world, to be productive, I need that downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
that,
Well,
that
so
is
does most
aiding in my
people.
production.
But so do most people,
Yeah.
is what I think. So, I mean, you gotta. I feel like you gotta have some downtime,
Yeah.
but it can be really hard to make yourself stop. And then when you do stop, you can have those like guilty feelings or feelings like, well, I could have done this, or like, okay, maybe it's not related necessarily to money, even though that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. Maybe it's like, okay, well, I could be, scrubbing my baseboards,
Yeah.
or something like that. Like you were talking, you have
Mhm.
someone come and do that stuff so you have that time with
No,
your
I do.
kids
Like,
and-
because obviously self-care is important.
yeah.
And honestly, anybody will tell you 100 times over, my self-care is sleep.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a napper. That's what I do. Every possible day, I nap. Or every day that I have
that you
time.
can. Yeah.
Which typically is the weekends. But
Mhm.
you see how it goes. But I do. I find myself feeling guilty because there's times that I miss my kids, and I'm like, if I want to take a nap, I could have been doing this, that, or the other. So there's a price
But in
on
reality,
everything.
they've been playing video games and wouldn't want to do anything else.
Well, and okay, so think about it this way too. So like yeah, maybe you took like an hour nap, but if you have a busy life, your day to day is very busy. You're up very early. You are go 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 pretty much with your day. You come home. You do your
Second
handful
shift.
of mom things. Yeah, the second shift, and then you do schoolwork or you're working on more stuff for work.
Yeah.
And then you, what time do you think you go to sleep? 11 o'clock? Sometimes later?
It depends on what I have going on for school. But I like I said, I am a sleeper.
Yeah.
So I'm very efficient.
Right. But then
But yeah,
what I'm
it's
getting at
literally-
is like you're probably not getting as much sleep as you
Yeah.
need during the week.
No, not the same.
And so
Yeah.
then when you do have time to catch up on the weekends, think about the quality of time you end up having with your kids just for getting that nap. So what if you like we're starting to feel tired and grouchy, and
Yeah,
instead
so
of taking a
I'm
nap, you really didn't even feel like being around your kids because they were just irritating you.
Yeah.
But instead of blowing all that time you could spend with them irritated, you take a little nap and you wake up and you
And
get
you
to
get that
enjoy
quality
that
care.
time with them, that quality time with them.
Mhm.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'd say in the last year especially has been like the awakening of me figuring out like
That's awesome.
I can't do it all. There's just no way. I tried for years
Right.
and I was really good at faking it. But it's not sustainable and it's not realistic.
It's not
Yeah.
sustainable. That's an excellent
Yeah,
way
it's
to
just
put
not.
it.
And I was staying up until 2-3 in the morning, waking up at 5:36.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of, honestly.
And it was
That's
I
way
just
too
can't.
much.
so I learned to be more efficient and picky with how I spend my time. So
Well, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure in this day and age.
there
um,
is. I was reading again on Facebook.
Yeah.
I might be about to bring up the same thing you're bringing up. Go ahead.
The women's mental load.
Nope, we're actually different. So
Oh.
I was like, I saw mine on Facebook too. But it's basically, I can't say from the men's side, but from women, society expects you to mom like you don't have a job and work like you're not a parent.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, and like,
And then, but if you are a stay-at-home mom, you hear everyone say, "Oh, well, you don't have a job, you don't clock in, your job doesn't
and
count."
I've been in both sides.
Yeah.
And
you
if you
do.
work,
You
and
hear
then
all those
if you
things.
work, they're like, "Oh, well, you should be home taking care of your children. They're missing out on you." So society's never happy with what you choose.
No, absolutely not.
That's true.
And it's just never going to be good enough for someone else. But as long as you're happy and content with what you do and your life runs how you want it, screw what society.
Well, we
Yeah.
as women, we are fortunate. I think we're in like fifth wave feminism now, but we've had all of these like people, these women, strong women come before us and like pave this way. But now I feel like a little bit we're scrambling because now it's like we have all this pressure to do all of these things. And you can't do it all. You just
No.
can't. Life is about balance, you know? What were you saying?
Oh,
You
right.
saw?
So
I'm sorry.
No, it's like
fine.
it's
It's
only
it's not often I interrupt y'all.
It's okay. It's only slightly related, but I found it interesting. It was pretty much that, and it was very relatable because my husband all day long, you ask him to do something, he's right there. He'll do it. But you have to ask.
Oh.
Oh, God, yeah.
He's not going to
Yes.
notice the counter is a mess. He's not going to notice this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Whatever. So basically, it was the article was saying that the mental stress is 25 times more on a woman because they're thinking, oh, they need this for lunches tomorrow. Oh, they need this. They need this.
It's your
like-
mind is like constantly going,
You're,
whereas
like,
a guy is
preemptive.
like, "All right, I got this.
Yeah.
Let me destroy this thing right here. Let me like on their video games," and that's what their current mind state is. We can be doing something that's distracting, and yet still be thinking about all the other stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, but it goes on to talk about how like you go to clear off the table, and then you're walking the towel that was
Oh,
left on
man.
the table, and you come across the shoes in the hallway, and then by the time you make it back around, you spent 2 hours cleaning off the table.
Right.
And it was about basically letting go, because yes, ask for help to clean off that table, and you need to learn that yeah, those shoes are probably still going to be there because they're not going to see those shoes
Yeah.
like you would have. They're going to walk right around them, and you can't be picky about the help that you get, which
Yeah.
kind of relates to you being like, you're not cleaning
Guilty,
it my
guilty.
way.
Yeah.
And so,
It's like my boys with their room this weekend. I was like, you know what? fine. You want your room to look like that for your party? That's how it is.
Yeah, but it was super
I gave up.
relatable to me because I spent years trying to get him to just read my
Just
mind
know.
and do it my
That's
way.
not how it works.
And that's just not how it works. And so I guess his solution was to just hire somebody, which works too.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't mind it.
It's like they're thinking they're gonna get from point A to point B.
Yep.
We're like, what are all the divots and pit stops from point A to point B? What else can be done from
Yes.
point A to point B?
How do I
Like-
can I make it the most efficient?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
how can we be most efficient?
Because there's that. I mean, does it have a direct monetary value? No, but the time that you're spending doing whatever it is that you're doing, you want to get the most out of it.
Right.
So that is at least how I see things, and so it was really eye opening just to see like 25 times the mental load.
Right.
That's crazy, yeah.
So what do you guys feel about like pressure from the outside world to like keep up with the Joneses or keep up with the status quo? Because honestly, from my perspective, that's not really ever been a big thing.
I'm
Only
never gonna be
sometimes
able
it
to.
kicks
I'll be honest,
in.
that's not
Yeah.
who I am.
You know?
Like that's not how I
Depends.
work.
Like if I'm in like, say I'm like for some reason, which doesn't happen often, and that's probably why, because I don't associate with people that would really it would matter. But
Me
every
either.
once in a while, you're put in a weird social situation where then all of a sudden you do feel like, oh, maybe I should be worried about this.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need to need this certain kind of vehicle or take these certain kind of trips, or like you didn't know this was missing from your life, but now it is.
Yeah, I want to say that I'm above it, but I'm really not. Like I get
Yeah.
caught up in it. I think especially with since we've moved to private school, you go to these school functions and it's her mom has a Tesla and this that
Oh,
and the other,
geez.
and it's like and a pool house and this that
Of
and I'm
course.
like, I thought we were doing pretty good, but in comparison, I'm like,
Maybe then
I
you
feel
worry.
like I'm like-
then you worry. Maybe like, am I not? Am
Right.
I not doing good? Like, am I dropping the ball here?
is
you
there
know?
something more I should be? Should I be working harder? Should I be
Yeah.
doing this?
What can I do to make more money?
Mhm.
I need to be making more money. Money.
Yeah, and
But-
then it's like that sense of inadequacy.
Yes.
They
Oh,
might have that Tesla and all those things, but do they know their kids?
That's the thing. How much time
Yeah.
do they get to actually? And not all families are as close as others.
Yeah.
Like, if you choose to have a family, then you figure you're the kind of person that is choosing to be close to people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, for
Especially certain people. So I wonder the same thing. Like, how much quality time are they going to get with their family and their loved ones? You know?
Yeah, that's like even 6 months ago, like or not even, it was like what 9 months ago, whenever I started this whole transition at work, and it was like just put me in. Like I volunteered to go to New York. I was happy to go,
Mm-hmm.
and then it like all was like crap. Like I'm pushing myself in my career, but is it worth what I'm losing? Like I lost almost an entire summer with my kids.
Right.
I mean, I saw them in between, of course. And in the end, it all was very good for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to find that balance, especially as a working mom, I think. That you don't know, are your kids going to look back and remember that time that you made them heart-shaped pancakes for Valentine's Day?
Right.
Or are they going to remember that you traveled a lot and you were gone?
You're always gone.
Yeah.
They don't care what you were doing.
Mhm.
You just weren't there,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, I think this is interesting because obviously we've branched out to YouTube and we just started as podcasters. And I'm not gonna lie, when we started this, we were kind of like, maybe we'll make some money on the side. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. We've made zero monies, by the way. We've spent money.
It's really just been really fun.
and
It's
that's the
fun,
thing.
and to me, it's our bonding. It's where
Yeah.
we get to connect that week, and I feel like it's brought us closer.
right.
Not
Yeah.
that we had bad relationships to begin with, but
But
Just-
so with that thought, like, it made me, this topic this week made me think about the YouTubers out there that literally like they're influencers. Like, have you Nova? Like, my kids would be like, I'm gonna be an influencer, or the boys, I want to be,
Oh, it's a
I'm gonna be a
YouTube
Minecraft YouTuber.
gamer. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna be
like,
a YouTuber.
okay, man.
And I think that's amazing, but I wonder about those particular people and the pressures that they are maybe facing, and to feel like they always have to be on
Mm-hmm.
all the time, always have to be done up, always have to be living their best
Their
life.
picture perfect life. Like,
Yeah.
but what's behind that camera?
I've actually been catching up. She's been around for I think 2 or 3 years now. On Stephanie Buttermore. She's on YouTube. If you guys are into fitness, check her out. I've been watching her videos, and last year she's built basically her YouTube around her fitness. She did fitness modeling. She has she's very, very smart. By the way, I should say she has a PhD. She's really fucking smart, and she worked has put out a couple of different workout programs and stuff. And then last year she totally had to flip the script and change what her whole space was going to be about. She said she was struggling with feeling like she had to be constantly perfect, have a constantly perfect body, have a certain lean look to her, and that she was hungry all the time. So this past year she switched the script and is doing something she's calling going all in, where basically she's eating until she's satiated. She's still working out just as hard in the gym and stuff, but she's gained 30 something pounds. And I've seen videos where there are other people in the fitness world on YouTube, and they're literally just analyzing her, and some of them are talking shit, and it's just dude, we're all just people. Let's not forget we're all just people. And while that's a big scary thing. Can you imagine? I would hate to have for our YouTube, for instance, that kind of pressure to feel like we couldn't be ourselves, or feel like
I would never want to get
we
to that
would
point.
lose something. We would lose a following, or we would lose money because of something like that. People are cruel in this day and age. I was going somewhere more with that, but what do you guys think about that kind of thing? Because I've seen it with other people too, other YouTubers that are going through different kind of things, where they literally there's a video where she literally just bares her soul, and she still is getting these videos where people are over analyzing what she's doing. She's wrong, she shouldn't be doing this, and it's dude, she was fucking hungry. Let the girl do her thing.
Let her eat.
Let her do her thing. She's still awesome. She's still a badass in the gym. To me, it made me like her content more.
Right, yeah. I find that, and none of their names, Serious Mom Shit, some others that, I can't even, there's one with blue hair. I think her name's Hannah. Either way, but basically their whole thing is about not being perfect, and that's okay. And those are the ones that I'm drawn to. I maybe even 2 years ago probably would have been just the same, following the ones that they have it all together and feeling I don't measure up, and
but that's not real life.
It's so detrimental.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I kind of came around and I was no, wait, these are my people.
Yeah.
I know 2 on Facebook. I can't remember one's last name, but her name's Meredith.
Yes.
And Juggling the
her.
Jenkins.
Yes, I love both of
Tiffany
them.
Jenkins, and they collab, right?
Yeah.
Together a bunch. And basically they're saying look, this is real mom shit. This is how real mom is, or real moms are, and that shit ain't there. That shit over there, that's not us. That's not how we roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, our house is a mess.
Yes.
We're gonna party at someone else's house, so we don't have to clean it.
Yeah. No, I think that definitely having a perspective is really important.
That to me is at the point where the money is not worth it.
No.
I can't imagine feeling I have
would
to
not
always
do it.
be on, or always be polished, or always be presenting myself in some kind of perfect way, just to make some extra money on the side,
Yeah.
And not that that's what she was doing, but I'm just using it as a for instance.
Yeah, I like coming on here and being raw and transparent, and this is real. My life is not a fairy tale. It's a good life.
Far from fairy tale, but I enjoy my life thoroughly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I feel I'm at too with this whole time versus money topic. Yeah, could we have nicer things? I still am driving a car that has no bumper on the back of it. I don't give a crap, though.
Yeah.
This is the thing. The only time I worry about that is when someone says something about it. And then I'm oh yeah, that's us. I don't even think about that kind of thing. And it's yeah, okay, you could... The bumper still works, by the way. It's just the plastic part that goes around the bumper.
The pretty part.
The pretty part.
It's gone.
It still keeps us safe. So it's doing its job, in my opinion. But... you know, like, I could put money towards that, or I could
Put money
Go
towards
on
a
a
night
trip.
out with your
put
kids.
money towards something else, or not have that time, not work that time to make that money, and spend time with my kids, or spend time with my family, or spend time with me, for that matter.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta
I
look out
will
for
say
you.
this: the upside to him taking the kids every other weekend is that's time that my husband and I get to ourselves, or if he's out at sea, I
It's you
can
time.
veg out on the couch with a mask on and some friggin' just
Whatever.
yeah,
Wash day clothes.
yep, and no judgment, nobody cares. My
Yeah.
kids don't walk in and be like, "Oh, mom, what's
Yeah.
on your face?" I'm like, I'm taking care of me.
Yeah.
I used
Back
to.
off.
I don't really anymore because Ben works remotely, so it doesn't have the same effect.
True. You have to, like, get away to get
But
away.
like I used to take like weekdays off
Mm-hmm.
because then I could
A mental health day.
yeah, like have like a mental health day for 6 hours, 8 hours that they're in school, and then go do something fun and feel refreshed. That coffee is not kicking in yet.
Damn it.
The chain reaction. But I used to really like that, but now that Ben told me he just wants to hang out, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm relaxing."
My husband is like that too. What's going
Yeah.
on? What you doing here? I'm
I'll
literally
come
just
in
like,
like
trying to
6
clip my
minutes
toenails.
later, like at least like 6 minutes later, he walks in and he's like, "What are you doing now?" I'm like,
Yeah.
literally the same thing.
Mine too. Mine too. That's so funny.
I'm like, I'm gonna need you to
Well-
not like me so much right now.
Yeah, that's kind of Bobby too. I'll be like relaxing in the tub, just listen to my music. Hey, babe! I'm like, yeah. He's like, you good? You alive? I'm like, yeah.
I'm trying to be.
That's
And he'll come in and be like, oh, let me just light some candles for you. I'm like, thank
That
you.
is very
It's
sweet.
very sweet, but at the same time, he's like on the phone with someone lighting my candles.
Oh,
I'm like,
jeez. Well,
I love
You're
you.
messing up. You're
Point A
messing
to
up the
point B.
vibes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was very sweet, but
Yeah. No, I think that just like even especially the last year has just been I thought coming into kind of working full time and whatever that it was okay, my kids and now my career. And it doesn't have to be that way. And kind of coming to the terms with that and being
Right.
okay with that has been just life changing to me. Like time it's not worth all the money. It's just not.
I agree.
So, there's a price for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about balance.
I agree.
I think is what it always comes down to. Is it's about balance.
The thing is, you can have as much crap as you would possibly ever want in this world, but in the end, you can't take it with you. You're not gonna be remembered by all the crap you had.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be remembered by
Yeah, it can
what
be-
person you
Yeah.
are and the things that you did while you were here.
Yeah.
So
But to wrap that, what about triumphs? What kind of good stuff happened this week?
I'll bring it back. We had Matthew's birthday, and it all went out without too much issue, except our pinata didn't hang.
it was
I
cold.
did.
It was
I did
cold.
notice at one point you guys were just beating the crap out of
Yeah,
it.
on the
Well,
ground.
I mean, I felt bad because only Matthew got to hit it, and it broke down. Like, it was too heavy. And
It was
snapped
literally
off
on the
little
ground, and the kids
plastic.
are
So I
like
was
axe hammering it with
screw
the
it.
bat.
hit at it, like let
Whatever.
everybody take a swing at it, and I
Right.
It was
did.
it was super cute.
They had a great time. My house went from being really nice to there's birthday stuff everywhere,
Mhm.
which I cleaned a little
fun,
bit
though.
of it today, but it could be better.
Yeah. It could always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
No
yours?
joke. It could always be better. So not only did I get to visit with one sister-in-law this week, but I got to visit with two. On Saturday, Stephanie came up to the beach. Her Chris's father owns a beach house, and she stayed at the beach house for her birthday. So I got to see one sister-in-law on Wednesday, and who I haven't seen in a long time. The youngest sister, and then I got to see the middle sister on Saturday and have some wine and do a shot of vodka for a
Oi.
Salu happy birthday. What? It was
I
over
just
the
don't
span
like
of like
vodka.
2 hours.
I
I was like, it was fine.
No,
It was
you
not
just-
even nothing.
You said vodka, and I was like, oh.
It depends. Sometimes it gives me heartburn real bad. It has to be decent quality. I'm getting to that age where
Yeah.
it's like
don't
same
have
thing
that
with
issue.
wine. Like it's got to be decent quality wine, or I'm gonna be feeling like crap the next day.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really have anything. I can't really say anything yet. It's still very up in the air. But good things coming with the job. So, a lot of changes. Not at all what I was expecting from last week.
Maybe you can share next week.
Hopefully. So yeah, we're just kind of, just lots of good things brewing. A lot of
Things
great
are on the up and
opportunities
up.
are opening. I'm not even 100% sure what direction it is going at, but just my whole outlook on everything has 100% changed. And I just feel like everything's going in a really good direction. Back the way I
Awesome.
want it to. But it's going to be very important for me to keep in that work and home life balance.
Oh
because
yeah, because that's.
I have an
gotta
obsessive
stay.
addictive personality. So it's hard for me.
Obsessive, addictive, obsessive. Is that a thing?
Well, I have OCD.
It's both.
Something along those lines. I'm a perfectionist and I want everything to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever like I take on new projects or whatever, like I dive head first.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, that's great, but you gotta keep your balance and keep
Yeah.
grounded. So it'll be testing, but a lot of really good things coming. And on that note, I think we're did you go? You went.
We
Yeah,
all
okay.
went.
Make sure we didn't cut anybody off.
Don't forget to, if you like this video, please, if you watch this video, like. Maybe you leave us a note in the comments. Tell us what you think about time versus money. Maybe drop us an email at 3sistersoneheartpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram at 3sistersoneheartpodcast on Instagram. And
And Facebook,
share.
all that stuff.
Share us on
Like,
Facebook.
share, all that. Bye, guys.
Bye.